Hello and welcome to the Blanket Burritos. I am Emily.
I'm Sarah. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to our fourth episode.
Fourth episode. Look at us being committed to look at me being committed to something long
No,
term.
us. We are both being committed.
Yes, but you don't have a problem with like long-term commitment work things.
I guess. I don't know. It
You've
depends.
been at your company for like 5 years.
That's true. I don't like change it much. It's the earth sign way. Change is uncomfy for me.
I wish I was like that. I think the longest place I've been is this place, which is like a year and a month now.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's a long time though.
not really. But I guess for my for my what is it? Profession, yes, because people just bounce around to like school to school. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, people bounce around for architecture too as well. Because it's like trying to find like the correct like artsy. If you're like more artsy, less artsy, if you're like, you know,
Right.
find your like vibe and what you vibe with in terms of work. So not uncommon, not uncommon.
That's fair. All right. So we start off our episodes by pulling a tarot and or oracle card. Sarah, did you want to go first?
Sure. I we went back to our homegirl,
Ooh,
the
who's our homegirl?
wisdom oracle by
Oh,
Colette. We love her. And I got to the sea,
ooh.
and then why? Ooh.
Guys, if you haven't seen this oracle deck, you need to like just go look it up online if you're interested in that kind of stuff because it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, it's really cute. I like did a little bit of reading, a little bit of research on these. And the to the sea is like kind of just like encouraging like going with the flow, being flexible, like going where the water takes you or the wind takes you, right? But then why the way they wrote it is like knowing your why, like knowing your reason for doing things. But I don't think that's what it means here. I think it's like go with the flow and like, be a little bit of like a curious George, like, figure things out, have some fun, like
Like have a
lighthearted.
beginner's mindset to things.
Yeah.
You don't always have to be perfect all the time in the professional.
No. So I thought that was cute. It's a very playful, like relaxing and like be a curious George energy. I don't know.
I like that. That's fun. I pulled from what the heck is this called? The Elemental Oracle. And I got companionship animals. Yeah, and it was basically saying like go find yourself an animal companion if you don't have one. Spend time with your animal friends, and if you don't have an animal, you can go out into nature and hang out and or like donate to your local shelter or volunteer there, all that fun stuff. It was just saying like we need animals in nature right now. So yeah.
I need an animal one day.
I know. Well, you're gonna get your cat one day, right?
Yeah, I want to get.
What kind of cat do you want to tell the people?
Yeah, I want to get a Siberian because I'm allergic to like other cats, and I think Siberians are like they have less of like that like saliva that makes you allergic or something. I don't know. But they're like super fluffy and super cute, and apparently they're very dog like, and I love dogs, and I'm like this is a good time. So like I feel like it'll be super playful and fun to have that cat.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So one day in a couple months I'll start.
It's funny because I was just posted a self-care Instagram oracle pick a card, and one of the third pile I think was hang out with your animal companions too. So that was really funny that came up again today.
That's so cute. I did that one. I picked number 2 though.
Ooh, what one was that one? Was that meditate?
Yeah, that was meditate.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so our next segment is where we answer 2 questions from the 36 questions that will lead to love. It was like New York Times article from a psychologist, and basically our whole goal here is to make you fall in love with us so that you want to watch us more.
Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
I think we've tried to film this podcast so many times, Sarah. You obviously already know the answer to this.
Yeah.
But it is our boy JC, Jesus Christ himself. I love Jesus. I think he's cool. Not like a like Christian-y, like I love Jesus. It's more of like an ascended master looking at it from a Gnostic Gospels perspective of like, if you don't know what that is, look it up because we could spend a whole episode talking about the Gnostic Gospels. But basically the way the church paints Jesus isn't entirely the truth. Yes, he was all about unconditional love, which I love, and he's awesome. And I always said when I was younger, like, I think Jesus was just like a really rad Reiki master, like a really talented Reiki guy. And he's just like basically like the ultimate alchemist and had a lot of Pleiadian DNA. And we just love JC, and I just need to get to that point where I want to be like that, where I unconditionally love people. And so I would have dinner with JC and we would hang out and he would tell me his secrets.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Yeah, mine is when we've tried to film this multiple times and the sound was just like upsetting. It's the same answer. Mine is my grandpa from my dad's side, because I never met him. He died before I was born. So that would be like a fun little like, hey, like, what are you about? Like, let's just sit down and chitty chat. So I think that would be cool.
Sarah, you should tell people, if you feel comfortable, about the ghosty stories with like you when you were born. I think that'd be cool.
Ooh, okay, yeah. No, this is kind of cool. So my dad is like I mean, none of you know my dad, but my dad is for just as he's not necessarily, so he's an engineer. He's not like someone who would he's very logical. He doesn't like, he's not very like believe in like the hippy dippy things as we do. Let's just say like he's not like mean about it or anything, but he's like, okay, you go do that. I'll be over here. Like he's just like, very, very logical engineer, like science, all those things. And when I think it was my mom and dad were together, but like I don't know if they were like engaged or married or something. It was before I was born. And my dad's dad, so my grandfather on my dad's side, wasn't feeling well. And they knew he wasn't feeling well for like a while. And his family, so most of my dad's family, also to preface, lives in Iran. So like my dad was the only one pretty much of his family that moved to the US for school and stuff, like in the 70s and 80s. So he knew, and he would like, call them and stuff. And one day he came down, they used to live in like a condo. And he came down to like the kitchen area, and like he could have sworn he saw his like dad sitting at the kitchen table, and he was just like took like a double take, and then he wasn't there, and he's like, that was really weird. And so then he like told my mom, he's like, I think I need to I need to call my mom. Like I like thought I saw my dad like sitting here. That was weird. And so he called his mom, and then they said, yeah, he like passed away like earlier today or like a couple hours ago or something. So I thought that was crazy, just because like he's not someone to really believe that, but like he saw it, like so that was pretty cool. And then there's another one where like when I was just born, like he had a dream he like was taking pictures to develop, because like back in the day you had film and had to go develop pictures. And so he like took pictures of me when I was a baby and like other things around the house, and he went to go get them developed. And then when they came back, like all of them with me, and it had like his dad or like my grandpa in the background looking at me. And so like that was like really weird. Like he had a dream about that, which I think is cute, because I think he was just like, my grandpa was like excited I was there, and like that was his way of like saying, oh yay.
Yeah. Didn't your mom also have this like a similar dream or something where he was like he wanted to see that he asked to see the baby, like he wanted to see you?
Yeah, he wanted to see me, and then my mom woke up being like, "Oh, she's like over there," and then like woke up and realized it was a dream.
Oh, it's so cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I love that.
Yeah.
I
It's
love
very
that
cool.
like ancestors come through for people that even aren't really open to it.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's like just that's so beautiful, and that's such like a cool way to get people who aren't really on board with like the whole woo-woo stuff to like kind of be a little bit more open to it, and like
Yeah.
hey, like even if you don't want to believe in like aliens or like reincarnation, which is like fine, but it is nice to have that feeling of like, oh, like they're not just gone,
Right.
they're here, they're hanging out with us, and they're protecting us and watching us and giving us advice if we want it. And I really like that.
Yeah. Love it. Ghosty stories.
It's the second one.
Would you like to be famous, and in what way?
Oh. So here's the thing, Sarah. I don't think I told you about this yet. I think I don't know if I'm gonna leave this in. Remember when we solved the world's problems the other day?
Which day? That sounds like such like an ass thing to say.
It was like Tuesday when all the stuff with
right. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I went down and told my mom everything, and she was like, "Wow, you're absolutely right." And I was like, "Mom, I'm gonna be the leader of New Earth. I don't care anymore. Nobody else can do it. We're doing it."
So what Emily's trying to say is she would love to be famous.
I wouldn't be though. I even told her, I'm like, I'm gonna be the idea guy, like the behind the scenes guy. I'm gonna be the brains, and someone else can be like the body, the face.
I would be, yeah. That would be fun, just being like the idea person.
Mm-hmm. But no, I would very much not like to be famous. Like I can be like famous, like YouTube famous, and have like lots of subscribers and have some people recognize me on the street. But for the most part, I'm not going to have people following me around and photographing me, and I don't have to like go out in the sunglasses and a hat,
Yeah.
Because I like my privacy.
Yeah.
And I feel like you feel the same way, right?
I feel the same way. Like I don't mind like again like if like people like like start to like watch these and like recognize like us or something from this, but like other than that, like I don't think I would like to be famous. Like that's like a lot.
Yeah.
So Emily, do you wanna tell us about the monkeys?
Okay. So I found through Game Grumps. For those of you that don't know what Game Grumps is, I'm sure a lot of people do, but look it up. They're really funny. They're like, they play video games on the YouTubes, and they're comedians, and they make me giggle. But they were talking about watching monkeys watch close-up magic. And so I looked up videos, and it was the cutest thing I've ever seen. I think the video is like baboon watching a close-up magic, and it's just the funniest, cutest thing you'll ever see in your life. So you need to look that up right now. Well, after this, don't stop this video, but after look it up. I'll remind you. I won't remind you because I have ADHD and I'll forget this even existed. I forgot I even put it on the list of things to talk about. Look it up. It'll change your life. It won't. I can't guarantee that. I'm sorry, I lied to you.
It's cute though. Like I watched it and like they get so like surprised and excited. Like it's like a nice little like watch it to brighten your day. Like it's like a nice cute like brighten your day video. So
yeah, it's like it's such a like a human reaction, and it's like really cute because it's like going back to the animal stuff. It like I don't know, it just shows that they are so similar to us and we're way more connected to them than I think we were led to believe.
Yeah.
Why did you choose to, well, I guess we should get into, Sarah wanted to talk about periods today.
Oh.
And I was curious what like
there was a reason. Oh, this was the reason. So I've been watching on Netflix The Queen's Gambit, which is it's about this like girl who like her like mother dies in a car crash. She doesn't really know her dad. Her dad like left them or something, right? So she becomes an orphan in an orphanage. And when she's in the orphanage, like they realize she's like very, very like smart, like, and she's very good at like academics and stuff. So like she'll finish her work really early. So they would be like, why don't you go down to like the basement and like clean out like the erasers from the chalk and stuff. So she would go down and she would see the janitor there playing chess. And she was like very curious about like chess. And so like she became friends with the janitor and starts to learn how to play chess at like a very young age. And she like was like a chess prodigy. Like she like and then like the janitor tells his friend who like works at this like high school, and she's like at the age of like I don't know, like 9, 8 or something. Like they take her to the high school and she like plays chess with everyone in the chess club. And this is like in like the 50s and 60s. So like when they take this like little girl to go play chess, everyone in the chess club is like a boy. And she like literally like they put the desks in like a U. I promise this is gonna make sense in a second, but like they put the desks in a U and they have all the boys like sit around a circle like with a chess table in front of each of them, and then she goes around and plays with each one and beats all of them. And it's like about her like and how like good she is, and it's like her journey to like she wants to go to like um she gets to the point where, like she wants to go to like play chess internationally and become like a chess like champion internationally. And at her first like normal match, like regular match in like her state, she goes to play and like she leaves for a second because she's not feeling well, and she's like a very young girl, and she goes to the bathroom and then she gets her like first period like in the middle of like the chess tournament. And then I was just thinking about like that's funny because like I don't know, I feel like the first time getting periods are sometimes funny, like so that's why I wanted to talk about it.
Got it. All
moral
right.
story, watch Queen's Gambit, but yes, for first period stories.
All right, cool. Do you want to start?
Oh yeah, so I remember like coming home. I got mine in middle school, like I think in 7th grade or something. And I remember coming home one day and I went to the bathroom to go pee, and I like looked at like down and TMI, but here we are. I was wearing like underwear that was like army patterned, so it was like all different types of green. And so I went to go pee, and then I realized like on my underwear like it looks brown. And I remember for like a split second like going through my day and being like, did I shit myself today? Like, and I was like literally going through my day and I was like, I don't remember pooping, like accidentally pooping, or like I was like seriously considering. I was like, how the hell did this happen? Because I don't. And then like I went to go like after I peed, like wipe and like put my underwear back on, and then I realized like when you wipe, like I think the first time it's like brownish, but then when I wiped with the toilet paper, it looked like blood, and I was like, oh, that makes more sense than me shitting myself. So that was my experience.
That's funny. I think I had like a very similar experience where I forgot I had that inner monologue, but I did. I had a very similar inner monologue where I was like, did I poop? Did I poop and then like not wipe well? And now there's like shit all over my underwear. Like, what's going on?
Right.
And then I did the same thing where I wiped and I'm like, ugh, oh. And I didn't tell my mom for like a week, because it wasn't like when I first got it, it wasn't very heavy. It was light, so I can like kind of get away with it. And then it was like getting heavier, and I didn't tell my mom because I like thought she was going to make a big deal out of it, and I just didn't want to deal with it. Like, oh, like you're a woman now, and I was just not.
That's a lot. Yeah, we don't want that.
I was not in the mood for that, and I just didn't want that. And but it was like Halloween, and I was like, shit, I should just tell her. And then I was like, hey mom, I got my period, or I think I got my period. And she was like, oh, okay. And then she just gave me a pad, and like that was it. And I was like, oh, well, don't I feel like a fool?
I think my mom didn't make a big deal either. She just gave me a pad too, but it was like one of her pads, so it was like extra uncomfortable. Like it wasn't for like, it was like super thick, like, and I was just like, I hate everything about this. I literally feel like, and it didn't like, it didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, I had the same thing. I don't know what it was, if it was just like the pads back then, but it was just like gigantic, and I was also uber uncomfortable and like would like waddle. Like,
yeah.
like the worst. And speaking of waddle, this is totally off topic, but my friend in college used to say that she could tell when people were hoes because they would do the hoe walk, which if you don't know what the hoe walk is, because I didn't.
I don't know. What does that even mean?
It's when I guess they're like their downstairs area is sore from like banging, that they like waddle. They'll like waddle, which I've never seen. I guess I haven't looked too much into it, but she calls it the hoe walk. People in college, look out for it. Let me know if that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really pay attention to people. Like I don't pay that much attention to people when they're walking. No.
Yeah. Sorry, men who are watching this. You might want to skip this episode. So what are your symptoms that you would like to discuss and share with the audience?
When I was younger, I didn't have any symptoms. Which was like my mom used to be like, "You're very lucky." Like, I don't understand how this happened to you. Like, it would just kind of show up, and I was like, "Oh," like, but now, I'm just like extremely hungry. Like the week before, and eat like everything, like a vacuum. My boobs hurt a couple days before, and I just feel gross, and I don't get like really bitchy. I just like cry at things more than I normally would. Like, I'm a little more emotional, but that's about it.
Ooh. Yeah, I didn't really start getting too bad of cramps until like, well, I used to get migraines actually a lot, like especially in high school. That's how my migraines started, was like around my cycle time. It would just pop up and I'd be like, oh, getting my period soon. Now there's like the cramps have been getting like pretty bad, like starting last year. For some reason they've just become like really terrible and unfun. And I don't know if that's just a symptom of like getting older, or my body telling me like you need to have babies or else we're gonna like shrivel up and die. I don't know. I don't know what that's about, but yeah. And I also, a symptom that I did get was I did get really emotional in high school. Like I got really, really like sensitive and really, really reactive. And my mom always knew, because she was like, are you getting your period? Or like, are you on your period? Which is like a really rude thing to ask somebody, especially when they're already really emotional. So like, don't do that. Don't be like my mom. But I was like a fucking nightmare. And then I went on birth control and like I was fine and it helped. And now I like still get that way where like I feel very, and I think I get anxiety now because I do know I can be reactive. So I'm always scared that like somebody's going to say something and I'm going to be really reactive. So I try my best not to be, but I do. I get very like emotional, and I feel like also my body works semi-normally, where like I'll have like sexual urges, whereas like when I'm not on my period, I don't really.
Oh, interesting.
I know, it's really weird. Because like I've always kind of identified in the more like gray asexual area, where like it really depends. But like on my period, I'm just like, I am a normal human with a, like, when I was 19, I was talking to one of my ex-boyfriend's friends, and they were like, oh, would you want to bang that girl? And I was like, no, like I don't know her well enough.
Right.
Like, and she's like, that doesn't matter, she's hot. And I was like, so people want to bang people even if they don't know their personality? And that to me was like mind boogling. Like people look at people and they just want to bang them.
That's
I didn't realize.
mind-boggling for me too, because I'm like, how you don't even know that person. Like, how do you know they're not going to kill you? Like, I mean, that's a little bit more
That's
dramatic
an
on my end,
anxiety
but
thing.
like,
I think they're more just like talking about like, oh, that person's hot, I would bang them. Whereas like, I don't look at a person or like a celebrity or anything and go, oh yes, I would bang them. Like that's not something
no.
that I ever understood that was a normal thing to do. So anyway, but when I get my period, I become semi-normal like that.
Interesting.
You
Very,
know,
very interesting.
yeah. So, woo!
Fun period things.
Oh yeah. I guess we can talk about how we deal with those things to help the people out. If you have any suggestions.
um, I'm trying to think. So mine, so I get cramps too, but mine are pretty much the first 2 days. So like Tylenol extra strength, lovely lady. If you
Ooh.
haven't met her, she's great. And I don't know, I just like kind of let myself eat whatever the fuck I want because I'm like literally my
Mm-hmm.
uterus is falling out of my body. Oh my god, this is actually very funny because last week our uteruses were falling out.
I know. That's why I
So
thought you were suggesting it. I didn't. I didn't realize it was because of a TV show.
how funny. Yeah, so I just like I'm like, well, I could do whatever the fuck I want because literally I'm dying. So
Mm-hmm.
I can have uh chocolate if I want to. And
Mm-hmm. That's very important. Being kind to yourself on your period, because especially if you do have like body image issues. Like I remember when I was like 16, I was I had huge body image issues. And whenever I would get on my period, I would feel so fat. And I would ask my mom, like, oh, am I fat today? Like, do I look fat? And she's like, no, Emily, you like never look fat. Knock it off. Um, and she was like, are you on your period? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, you're just bloated. Like, and that's the thing. Like, it's true. Like, nobody can see that but you. And it's about being like kind to yourself and letting yourself eat what you want and cheat and not be so cruel about like, ugh, you know?
yeah. That's so funny. Your mom was like nicer. My mom was like, just be like, you're getting your period soon. Like, you're bloated. Like, I can
Oh
tell
my
in your face.
God.
And I was like, thank you so much for that. Like, I do though. Like, it's very apparent. Like, my face is like puffier, and then like as soon as I get it, or like I want to say 2 days out, 2 days in, everything just shrinks. And she's like, oh my god. She's like, you literally like shrunk. And I was like, literally, thank you so much for telling me that I literally blow up like a balloon every time.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is not the appropriate way to speak to your child and a helicopter parent.
It's fine. Like she doesn't mean it in a mean way. I was like, yes, I know. This is what happens. Like there's not much I can do about it.
Oh boy.
uh,
I think what I did was like for the migraines, I took Excedrin, and that pretty much like has Tylenol and like Advil and a bunch of like and
right.
caffeine in it. So it just did everything.
uh,
And now I get migraines less so since I like started doing yoga and Reiki and all that stuff. So I can pretty much mitigate that myself. But if like and pretty much the cramps too now, but if it's really bad or like I'm in school and I can't just like do a Reiki session on myself because like that's a little weird.
give me one moment. Like
When I forget my Advil, you will see me there like sitting there with my hands on my uterus sometimes, and like people are like, what is she, like I can see people like looking at me like, what is she doing? Like and I'm like, nobody asks questions, nobody look at me, like stop like seeing me, like just pretend I don't exist, god.
stop seeing me. Can you just like I'm invisible today, okay? Thank you. Oh my god. Um,
uh,
Also, something very interesting. I feel like I strangely have changed my body for the most part to get the like worst of it at some point in the weekend.
oh yeah, you told me about that.
I don't know how. I think it's more to do with stress because when I'm stressed, it will delay. So like if I'm at work and I know I'm supposed to get it, let's say Thursday or Friday, I just know that if it doesn't come, it's definitely going to come on the weekend, and it typically does.
That's crazy, man. But yeah, what I was saying was Aleve is also really good because it's a muscle relaxer.
Yeah.
So it'll like relax your uterus wall from contracting, and that's what causes the cramps. So Aleve is a really good one too. That's pretty much what I use now. I heard Midol isn't Midol like the period thing?
Yeah, I haven't used Midol before, but I heard it's good.
I've used it. It was really good, but for some reason it made me really loopy. Like it
Ooh.
made me a little loopy doopy, which is not normal. I don't think that's a normal thing that happens, but I used it once and I was just like, woo!
That's what happens to me when I take one Excedrin. I feel very, I don't know if it's loopy, but just the relief of the migraine. And I'm like, I feel amazing. Like,
Yeah, I used to get really sleepy on Excedrin too, and now that I've taken it so much because of because I used to get really, really bad migraines, and that's how I got into Reiki and yoga and stuff. But I first started off getting Excedrin. I remember like I used to like take like I used to just knock out, and it was so great until I had like an ex-boyfriend, or well, it was my boyfriend at the time, but he thought like I was like actively ignoring him because I was just like,
no, I just took Excedrin and knocked out. I'm sorry.
yeah, but, like he didn't believe me. Like he was like, "Where are you? You're with another man." Like,
Oh my God.
That's also like that's a like break up with them immediately. Immediately. Don't be like me.
Clearly didn't
But
know
that's been
you.
like an issue for me, like more than I'd like to admit in my relationships. Like people just like me like taking naps and not like seeing texts, and then people being mad because it took a while for me to get back to them.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, like just do your own thing. I don't know. Go away.
I don't know. I feel like if they know you well enough, they'll know like she's probably sleeping. Like I feel like that's just literally number one. I'm like, she's sleeping. It's fine. She'll get back.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, now not so much, but like back then I was heavily depressed, and especially like with the second time I'm thinking of, like I was going through some grief stuff.
Yeah.
So like, and when you're in grief, sleeping is a very big thing that people do. Like it's just I don't know why it's like scientifically a thing where like you just sleep a lot more, and it's probably because like your subconscious is trying to process all of this stuff that's happening. And so like around that time, like I was just processing a lot of grief and stuff, and then like the pandemic was around, and so there's just like so much happening, and I was just overwhelmed and depressed and sad, and like have compassion, you asshats. Let your friends sleep.
Let your friends sleep. That's the title of this episode. # let your friends sleep. Stop bothering them.
There's nothing worse than like getting texts at like right as you're about to fall asleep, or like before your alarm is supposed to go off, but it's not even like one text, it's multiple texts, and I want to scream.
I hate that. I hate when people try to like FaceTime me at like 10:45 or like 11. I'm like, no.
What?
No.
That is absolutely unacceptable.
You may be awake, but I will not be.
Yeah.
I am in the darkness of my room preparing for bedtime. Like
yeah. Yeah, that is unacceptable. I would unfriend them immediately. Like
I just ignore them and then call them the next day. I'm like, leave me alone, please. It's bedtime.
I mean, I feel like I make it pretty clear, like I'm strict on my bedtimes. I'm like, this is this, and like if you want to get a hold of me, that is not the way to do it.
That's not the time or place. Shall we move on to the advice questions that we left off last week?
Ooh, what are they?
So we'll start with number one.
Okay.
How many dates before were exclusive?
I hate that. I'm pretty sure I'm kind of guilty of looking something up like that too, where like I'm like, when I first got back into the dating game after my fiance passed, I was like, I don't know what dating is anymore, because it's just like all casual until what, like until they ask you, until this like they decide, like when is it like appropriate to even ask that question, because like you don't want to come across as like you are clingy or like super attached to it, but like I also want to know like, and it's frustrating. I feel like there's so many things here that I want to say. Like, it's frustrating because you don't know, and I think they like this. I think men like this, where like, or just people in general, they like this where you cannot hold them to an expectation of a boyfriend or like anything. So you can't really uphold them. So if they're doing something like you don't really love, like not texting you back in an appropriate time or like for a week, or just random things, like you can't really say much because like you're dating but you're not like together. And
Ooh.
you know what I mean? So, and like,
Yeah.
or they could like go and like bang someone else or date someone else, and like you can't say anything because you don't, and you wouldn't even know. And I don't really like that very much. Like I don't like the whole up in the air stuff. But it's also like, can you, once you've been dating for like a month, be like, hey, like I don't feel like if we're gonna go through with this, I don't feel comfortable with you like banging or dating other people. I think that's a little valid.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I think I don't know. That's so hard because like I feel like this is kind of the reason why I don't date much, and this is also the reason why I've like left talking to people majority of the time. I'm not asking to be exclusive, but like I typically like before we even like if I have a weird like hunch that they're going to be like weird or shady, I typically like nip it in the butt and I'm like, "No, listen, like this is not
right.
what I like. Like here are my things. Like if you don't want to like if you're not willing and if you're not in the place to like, take this seriously, fine. I'm totally fine. Maybe we should just not anymore talk.
Right.
That's fine. Um, and if you are willing, then fine. Like we can meet up and do this or whatever, whatever. But
Right.
I've lost a lot of people talking to me because I'm like, not really interested in if you want to do that. If you want to
Right.
do that, that's fine. You're just not going to do that with me.
Oh, that needs to be like a quote on a t-shirt, like our merch.
You're just not going to do that with me. And I've almost like said to people like when they've started to like kind of like not talk to me more, like I haven't done it yet, but I'm like I kind of want to do it with the next person if this happens.
Oh
Like
my
just
god.
be like, "Hey, listen, like, this like not talking to me and then talking to me after a week, like it's kind of boring. I'm a little disinterested. I'm going to like go over here
I'm
now."
gonna bounce.
Yeah, because I feel like if you're less accommodating and you're like, "Hey, I got a life too," they're more willing to like actually put in the work and make an effort and get to know you. But if you're like accommodating and trying to be nice, then they're like, "Oh, she's always going to be there." And that's what I don't like. The fact that I have to be like, "Oh, you're not interesting anymore." Like,
Right. I know. That's so
that's ridiculous. Like,
I know. I know. I think it's hard though because we were even talking about that. Like we want, I don't know if it was like different back in the day, but I feel like there wasn't this whole big thing where like if you're dating and that's it. Like you don't have to like not worry, but you don't have to be like, oh, are they dating other people? Are we monogamous? Can I bang other people? Can like what are the ground rules here? Because
oh
it's
my God.
also up in the air now, and I don't even know like what the norm is or what that even looks like or means. And
That's like too much. I can't deal with it. Like, this is the reason why I like. I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
be
hard.
great at being married and sitting on a porch and arguing about if we bought potatoes when we went grocery shopping. I'm gonna thrive at that part of my life. I hate this part because it's like I'm not here to like be like, ooh, maybe no, like not my thing. Like that's the one thing I don't like about like young people and dating. Like
Yeah. It's like, how did it become like that though?
I don't
Is
know.
it just because of social media and the apps that it's become so over sexualized, or like
I don't know.
I don't even know how that happened.
I don't know. I feel like by the time we were like by the time we were like in college and like it was already a thing. So like it happened before we grew up. Like we didn't see that transition, you know.
Oh no, for older people that know what's going on, let us know.
Yeah, let us know because we're confused and we don't like it.
Yeah, and also people who actually know like what the deal is, please let us know because we have no idea. I guess we didn't answer this question to our fullest extent of advice, but I think it's an interesting ongoing conversation to have.
Yeah.
And I think it also can encourage people to further communicate with the people that they're dating about their expectations and boundaries and what they want as well.
Yeah.
That's important because if a person is not like willing to go with your expectations or your boundaries or respect that, then I think like what Sarah does, you can just kind of cut it off then. And you can pretty much see who's the kind of people like that and who's not. And it's important to look at what their actions are versus what they're telling you as well, because sometimes there are some tricky dicky people, they're sneaky beaky, who will say like, oh, like I love you baby, but like then like bang a bunch of people, or like, you know,
Yeah.
or like be like kind of, what's the word people use, a fuck boy.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say actions speak louder than words, but yes, that works
Yes.
too.
Yes. I feel like me and Sarah can sniff out a fuckboy from like a mile away, like 10,000 miles away. And I've had friends where like they can't do that, and it's mind boogling to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chances are, if they're wearing like salmon shorts and are kind of like skinny and maybe like wearing a hat, but like a dad hat, but like not in a cute way, probably a fuckboy.
Very specific. I kind of love that.
It's true. Like there's just like there's a fuckboy aura, and
there's an aura.
There is an aura.
Yeah.
I'm not saying all men who wear salmon shorts and dad hats are fuckboys, but, and also, what is it with fish pictures?
Yeah, I find that very strange. Like, listen, the people on the dating apps, I really do not care about the picture of you on a boat holding a dead fish. How is that going to entice me to want to talk to you? It's not. You're holding a dead, smelly fish.
Right.
Why do I need to see this photo?
That's
How about another
like a turn
nice
off
photo
for me? Like when I was looking at it, like I'd be like, oh, like no, thank you.
Well, like what surprised me was that like a lot of people have that photo. So like I was just like, why?
Right.
Why is this like a reoccurring theme? Like who thought this was a good idea? Like
right. And
weird.
Like keep doing it too. Like I feel like men are very aware of the fact that like women are not very turned on by a picture of you and a dead fish. But for some reason they just keep doing it. Like I've seen some things where like guys will make jokes out of it, but even then it's still a little bit like, but you put it there.
You put the fish picture.
But you put it on there.
Moral of the story, I'm very confused about the fish pictures. Maybe someone can explain it to me. What's supposed to be enticing? Let me know.
Maybe it's like a masculine strong thing. Like, oh, look at this big fish that I like reeled in. Like, look at how manly and strong I am. Like, it's a men dominance thing.
It's just weird. Most people have it. I don't understand. You're just holding a fish and the fish is dead and smells. So
men, explain it to us. Please.
Yeah, because I'm confused. Like literally 90% of you have a picture of you holding a fish. I don't understand. Like, can you not? Like,
oh, that's so funny. Yes. What's the next question?
Excuse where I live. People are upset and beeping. The next question is, how do I ask someone out? Excuse me. For those of you who don't know, where I live is deceptively looks quiet, but isn't quiet because people get stuck on my street and it's a one way and then everyone starts beeping. And like, I live across from a senior living home. So you would think it would be like a very quiet place, but apparently it's not. But how do I ask someone out?
I think it depends on what age you are. This is tricky dicky because then I feel like it goes into sometimes male and female dynamics of like, or gender stereotypes.
Yeah.
Because I know that I feel like there are still a lot of men out there that will feel emasculated if like a woman asks them out.
I feel like it kind of goes in line with like the like what to do on like what to do on a first date or whatever, right? Like I feel like it shouldn't be anything like too crazy, or like it shouldn't be anything that you feel like pressure. It should just be like, oh, let's like go get a coffee and hang out. And I feel like anyone can ask, hey, do you want to go get a coffee and like just like hang out and talk for a bit? Like it's not, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. But I think they're asking like, how do I get like a romantic implication from that? Because like, you know, you could ask someone out for coffee, but then it's like, okay, is this a date? Is this not a date? What does this mean? If it's like a friend and you want to be more than friends, then I think that's a little bit more of a tricky situation where you kind of have to like kind of lay it out like, hey, I have feelings for you more. I think you have to discuss your feelings more than you have to discuss like the actual date thing first.
Right.
And the communication is key. Like, that's always hard though with friends.
Yeah.
And like having crushes on friends, because then if you like tell them your feelings and they don't feel the same way, then it's like, okay, well now I can't talk to you for like 2 months while I get over you. And then you just like kind of lost your friend, which is shitty.
Yeah.
Or you can like try to keep talking to them, but it's going to be like, it could be weird and awkward depending on the people and how you make it. And it's a whole other slew of issues. I guess, again, as usual, it depends on the situation. But yeah, like you said, like the easiest thing is probably just like asking them out for coffee, like casually.
Yeah, just like casually the first time, and then like, you know, get to know them like and stuff. And then I feel like it would be easier to ask to hang out a second time after like the first time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And then coffee's like really short. So if they end up being like a super bummy, like boring person, you can just kind of be like, all right, well, this was fun, but like maybe have plans after coffee. Like, ooh, like, did you want to go roller skating? There's this really fun place.
Yeah. And also don't trust anyone who doesn't like coffee.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. That's a lie. But like, but that's like hard. Like, what if they don't like coffee? Where would you go? I mean, they could get tea, whatever.
They can get like something else.
Or like a little croissant or like something.
Yeah. Or like water and iced tea, or
yeah.
Like Starbucks has a lot of fun options. Get an orange juice. I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah, that's our advice.
Yeah. So yeah. Moral of the story: let your friends sleep. That's the story in this episode.
I got so passionate. I got so upset.
Listen, I get it. Like when I don't get enough sleep, I'm like literally, it's bad.
There was no person that I hated more than my college roommate when they had an earlier class than me and was getting ready and woke me up. I've never felt more hatred for somebody. So irrational, but I felt it every single morning and I was like, God, what's wrong with me? But oh man, did I feel so... I've never felt so much hate in my life.
I feel a little bit less like it's not their fault. Like I can fall back asleep pretty quickly, like if that happens, because like you can't, like, I mean, there's not much you can do if they have an early class and like they have to get ready. Listen, I've tried multiple times trying to be the quietest person on earth when I was coming home late, and then would trip over literally everything and accidentally wake up my roommate, and then I felt like literally like the biggest dick in the whole world, but I was trying very hard.
Well, you should absolutely feel, no, I'm kidding.
I felt so bad. I was like, I'm trying to be so quiet, and then I trip over like God knows what, and it's just, I don't know. I'm more annoyed if people like purposefully try to wake me up, or like if I have to get up early, I'm like, this is upsetting. And I've had I had a roommate purposely wake me up in the morning, and I didn't like that.
That's terrible. I would Oh, I don't even know what I would do. I would never be friends with them again, is what I would do.
I wanted to take their arm and literally like throw them across on the floor on the other side of my bed because it would make me so mad. But she like would purposefully like do things to wake me up. Well, not like there was like one thing, and I was like, "Excuse you," and I was very upset. So,
well, I think like I recognized it was irrational when I was like when I felt so much hatred, but I did, and I still feel it like not as much, but like when my mom wakes me up, I get.
Oh yeah, no, I get that.
Ooh. Anyway, thank you so much for watching episode 4 of the Blanket Burritos. If you want to ask us any of your questions, you can email us at theblanketburritos@gmail.com. Link will be in the bio and description of our YouTube channel, which you should subscribe to and like. And thank you so much for watching. We love you guys.
We do. Thank you, and we'll see you guys next week.
Woo!
When we'll see what we talk about next. So,
Bye.
Bye.